Hello, I'm Bailey Leasure, and this is the Leisure Sports Podcast. I'm going to kick off this podcast this week recapping week 2 of the NFL 2017 NFL season, recap the games that went on. First game we'll talk about is the last Thursday night game, Texans-Bengals. Not really that many interesting plays. I mean, a lot of these national games so far, not really been that great of games. But Texans beat the Bengals 13-9. Bengals, that offense, still have not scored a touchdown in the first two games. Now they have to go up in the next matchup will be against the Packers. So it's going to be kind of, that defense is not that great for Green Bay, but at the same time, that team's been struggling right now. There's a lot of question marks with the Bengals. Are they going to, get rid of their longtime coach Marvin Lewis? Are they going to switch quarterbacks mid-season? Maybe we'll see what happens. But the Bengals going 0-2. There, I've looked at a statistic. Teams that go start the season 0-2 have a 10% chance to make the postseason in the NFL. Rather, a little over 40% chance of going in to the postseason at 1-1. So we'll we'll see what happens there. Patriots and Saints. The next game we'll talk about, the Pats were able to rebound over their loss against the Chiefs and were able to win 36-20. The Patriots got a little bit banged up. Gronkowski suffered a groin injury, but it looks like he still will be able to play. But it looks like it's not a serious injury, but with Gronk and his injury, his injury history, you have to, be careful. Ravens won a 24-10 game against the Browns. Browns, I think Deshaun Kaiser went out of that game with a concussion, and he lost. The Ravens were able to get that game 24-10. Cardinals and Colts. This was a pretty, not really a great game for both teams. Both teams, you could tell, are struggling without their key players in their offense. For the Cardinals, David Johnson, and for the Colts, Andrew Luck. Cardinals, Carson Palmer, he didn't start to pick it up until the fourth quarter. He got the game tied. Cardinals had a chance to win it at the end of regulation, but Phil Dawson missed a 40-yard field goal. Fortunately, Tyrann Mathieu in the beginning of overtime was able to get an interception, put them in field goal range, and the Cardinals were able to win that game, and Phil Dawson was able to make his second potential game-winning kick. So, but man, just the keys from this game, it just did not look good for the Cardinals. The only good things I could say about that game was defense. Budda Baker looked very well. He made a couple key tackles and breakups on special teams and defense. I'd like to see him play more, but we'll see what happens there. Tyrann Mathieu obviously made that big interception. And the biggest thing for the offense was J.J. Nelson. Made that huge touchdown grab, and the Cardinals were able to win. But at the same time, they need to figure out this running game. They started Kerwin Williams, but they played Chris Johnson, and he had a little. He seemed like he had more of a burst than any of their other running backs. The Cardinals were able to, just it's going to be tough next week going up against the Cowboys on Monday Night Football, but we'll see what happens. Panthers were able to beat the Bills. Cam Newton went out of this game with, I think, a back injury, and Greg Olsen, he broke his leg, and it was just reported that he will be out 6 to 8 weeks, and they put him on injured reserve with a broken leg. The Panthers were able to win that game 9-3. Titans blew out the Jaguars. Marcus Mariota looks very good, 37-16. Vikings faced the Steelers, and they were without Sam Bradford, who's week to week with a knee injury, and the Steelers were able to, walk away with that game. I believe the score was 26-9. Buccaneers played their first game of the year, and they were able to beat the Bears 29-7. Eagles and Chiefs, pretty decent game. Chiefs were able to win that game 27-20. Chargers had an opportunity to win that game to beat the to beat the Dolphins on a game-winning field goal, but that they met their rookie kicker missed the field goal again, and the Dolphins in Jay Cutler's first game as a Dolphins player were able to win that game 19-17. Raiders were off a really good performance by both Michael Crabtree and Marshawn Lynch. Were able to handily, like everybody expected, defeat the New York Jets 45-20. Redskins and the Rams had a pretty close game. The Redskins were able to take that game 27-20. Cowboys just were demolished by the Broncos. Broncos were able to win that game. I think it was like a 20-plus point score. Ezekiel Elliott had like 8 rushing yards in that entire game. So not really a great game for the Cowboys. Seahawks only beat the 49ers at home 12-9. So it's looking, despite the 49ers being 0-2, that's a really good sign for them going forward. And I think the 49ers have a decent defense. Lions, the Falcons were just put a lot of pressure on Aaron Rodgers and were able to handily win that game, 34-23. And then the Lions on Monday Night Football were handily able to defeat that struggling offense in the Giants and that struggling team, 24-10. Lions have looked pretty good to start off the season, but just some aftermath for the Giants. Ben McAdoo called out Eli Manning, and I don't know. I mean, I get calling out your star players when they're not playing well enough, but to the media and how long Eli Manning's been on the Giants and what he's done, I know it's been a while since he's brought a lot more team success, but at the same time, that's not really a good move. But it is what it is. Moving on to, like I said, some of the other big. Jalen Strong, he was suspended for the first game of the year for, I think, violating wellness policy, and he was shockingly released. Was claimed by the Jaguars. Not really great for him. It sucks for Jalen Strong. I've always thought, I covered him, or I followed a lot when he was at ASU, made that huge play against USC a couple years ago. I think he's a great receiver, and it's just unfortunate he got released and went to the Jaguars. So we'll see what happens with him. Like I said before, some other news before I move on to the NFL predictions. Jamie McGinn. I haven't talked a lot about NHL news considering the offseason, but the preseasons officially began in the NHL. Jamie McGinn was traded from the Arizona Coyotes, was traded to the Panthers for defenseman Jason Demers, I believe that's how you pronounce his name. But overall, Coyotes it's been a very active offseason for that young general manager, John Chikra. So, but he's made a lot of off-season moves, and he's really going under this, youth direction. We'll see what happens. It's going to be a lot of new faces on that team. No Shane Doan, no Dave Tippett, no Mike Smith. It's going to be a whole different team, and we'll see if this young direction can help the Coyotes going forward. Moving on to Major League Baseball, the Arizona Diamondbacks, after winning 13 in a row, they lost a couple games, lost 2-3 to the Padres at home, split against the Rockies. Took the first 2 against the Giants, and I don't know what's up with San Diego, but they really took to the Diamondbacks. They dominated in those first 2 games, and last night's game, it looked like they were going to continuously dominate them again, but the Diamondbacks came back from a 6-2 deficit, had a 4-run 6th inning, were able to take the lead, won that game. I believe the score was 13-7. Archie Bradley had a huge hit to give them insurance in the 8th inning, when he scored RBI single that went past the center fielder, 2 runs scored on the play, and he ended up getting at third. And you could see how fired up he was from that play. Archie's, he's one of, I think him and David Peralta probably in this team are really the energy team, or they really they're the most energetic players and the ones with the most passion and the ones that get very fired up and are very, they celebrate a lot. It's good to have those guys on your team. So, but the Diamondbacks currently, their magic number as of right now is 4 games to clinch a playoff spot. They have a 5.5 game lead over the Colorado Rockies for that top wild card spot. The Dodgers won earlier today, beating the Phillies. They lost 2-3 against the Phillies, but they were able to win today. So their magic number for winning the division is 1. Probably going to clinch it tomorrow, playing the Giants at home. So maybe the Dodgers waited on purpose. But at the same time, I expect the Dodgers already by now, if it wasn't for that bad losing streak, to have clinched the postseason, clinched the division. But that's not happened. So, but yeah, that's what's going on. It's been a lot of stuff going on in Major League Baseball, but that's what's been going on. So, moving on to my final thing I'm going to talk about, I'm going to do my Week 3 predictions. Thursday Night Football kicks off this week with the Rams and the 49ers. To me, kind of a bore game. But, Rams and the 49ers could be up-and-coming teams, and we'll see what happens there. I'm going to go with the LA Rams over the 49ers tonight. Ravens and Jaguars, that game will be in Wembley Stadium, I think. in London. I'll take the Ravens. Eagles, Giants. You know what? Carson Wentz looked pretty good to kick off the first two games of the year. They're at home. I'll take the Eagles. Broncos, Bills. Take the Broncos. Steelers going up against the. I believe it's the. I think it's the Bucks. No, it's the Bears. Excuse me. Steelers. I'll take the Steelers. Falcons going up the Lions. This is probably going to be the best game of the week, in my opinion. You know, you got two of the best quarterbacks in the NFL right now, in Matt Ryan and Matthew Stafford. Looks like the Falcons. There's no Super Bowl hangover as of right now. But I'll take the Falcons. I think they have a little bit, just a couple more big players on that offense. But I'll take the Falcons. Texans versus Patriots. I'll take the Pats. I thought they looked very good last week. Bucks Vikings. Could really depend on who's starting, but I think Sam Bradford will start, and it is at home, so I'll take the Vikings. Browns Colts. You know what? I'll take the Browns. Dolphins Jets. I'll take the Dolphins. I'll take the Panthers over the Saints. Seahawks Titans. This is probably going to be my upset of the week. I'll take the Titans. Bengals Packers. I'll take the Packers. Chiefs versus Chargers. Alex Smith's been really good, and I think he continues it. I'll take the Chiefs. Sunday night football game will be the Raiders and the Redskins. I'll take the Raiders. That team just looked very good on so far for the Raiders and that offense. And then Cowboys Cardinals, a Monday night football game. I'll take the Cowboys over the Cardinals. So I just think the Cowboys. I think they'll rebound. And I think they have just a little bit, couple more pieces on offense and big playmakers than the Cardinals on offense. But we'll see what happens. So that's it for my podcast this week. Thanks everybody for watching. Check in the description below for my recent podcast appearance on the Guns N' Roses Central podcast. I'm going to make another one this past Sunday. I'm unofficially a weekly person on the podcast. Follow me on Twitter at BaileyLeasure96. If you like the video, please click like. If you like the content on my channel, please subscribe. And comment on your views. Who do you think is going to win this week? What do you think about the Diamondbacks going forward, potentially into the postseason? What do you think about the injuries? What do you think are going to be the big moments this week of the NFL Week 3? So love the feedback. Thanks everybody for watching, and I will see you all later.